Howdy ho, I am Monroe, and let's do some art or something. Today's video is about Risograph, and big inspo came from Ivy Delamore on Instagram. I'm going to be leaving her link down in the description so you guys can look her up yourselves. She has some beautiful art. I love it very much. So let's get into this. And you may be thinking the exact thing that every other person that I have spoken to about this video idea thinks, which is, what is that? So before getting into the nitty gritty and the art of it, I'm going to give you guys like a quick little explanation of what Risograph is. Riso is a company that was made in Japan that manufactured and designed printers and ink. And in 1980s, they made the first printer, and 1986, it went worldwide. The biggest difference with their printers compared to like your normal everyday printer that you'll see at schools and stuff is they are soy-based ink, and the prints are made one layer at a time. So each color is placed down one at a time until it makes the full picture that you're looking for. It's really big with comics and prints because you can do it over and over and over and over again, but it's also got a unique flair to it since you have to actually put the paper on the ink holder to have it put the colors that you want on it. So it can have some spots that are like slightly different, but that's like what makes it unique. Even though you're redoing the same thing over and over and over and over again, each person's copy might be slightly different in the slightest way. And now that we're done with me explaining to you what Risograph is, I would like to shout out some artists that I found during like research for this video, like Natalie Anderson, Bethan Murr, Becky Mann, Radia. They are beautiful. Their artwork is up on the screen now, and their links to their social medias and stuff will be down in the description so that you guys can see their beautiful artwork yourselves as well. And now we're going to be getting into what I am doing today. I do not have a Risograph printer. I would love to. I think it would be really cool to have one, but I don't. So I'm going to be doing it more in the way as Ivy Alive that I was referring to earlier, where it's like digital art and each layer is going to be one set color, and you have to overlap those colors to get the ones that you're looking for. Another trick to that is I had to use colors that were actually usable with a Risograph printer. These are the colors up on the screen now that I had to pick from, and during the process you'll see me messing around with the colors trying to figure out like which ones that I want for that picture. Right now all I'm doing is normal line work. Both this picture and the second one I drew at the same time in just a random notebook while I was in between moves, and just knew that I had to do them digitally, so I decided to use them for this project. And if you want to do this, I know it's a little hard to be able to tell exactly what I'm doing, which I'm planning on recording it differently after this one, just to make it a bit easier to understand what I'm actually doing in the videos. But when you do this, each layer of color needs to have its own layer. So you would go in, make each layer, and multiply them so that way you can layer it over top of each other. And you need to be pretty good about making sure that they don't mix colors into the wrong layer. There's a few times in this one in specific where I did kind of do that, but we're just gonna ignore that. We're just gonna ignore her. Big help when you're doing this, if you decide to do this on your own, is the lasso tool. As you can see, I use it 100 million times. It's really helpful in making sure that you stay in the right spots and keep everything kind of where it needs to be. It does kind of like leave a little bit of a ring of white around where the edge is, so it's something to look at when you're doing like touch-ups and stuff near the end. The biggest example that I can honestly show you in how to do this layering stuff right is honestly the hair. That was where I think I did it the best at in all three drawings, to be honest. But it's kind of like I did the layer of yellow for the hair on the blonde spots, and then going back over with a maybe 50% opacity pink on the other layer to kind of make it give a slight orange, so you can add a little bit of dimension to each layer and make it kind of look like there's actually hair. When I started doing this one, I had a lot of issues with rendering the skin, because if I'm honest, I kind of already have some problems with that. Like, I'm great with blush, but anything else, I feel like it looks a little funny, which eventually I do go back in and actually make it all one color, just so it has more color to it. It's not just white with little bits of blush here and there. When I decided that I wanted to do this, I decided that I was going to be doing multiple different of my art styles. I didn't want to just do one of them. I kind of wanted to showcase the three that I tend to gravitate towards. This one is more of the realistic out of the three, I suppose, is the way you could put it, with like actual, similar to human features. The rest of them are kind of cartoony, in a westernized animation kind of way, I guess. And I'm sorry if you guys hear a lot of background noise in the video. I'm in between two PCs and I talk a lot with my hands, so you hear my hands move a lot, and my cats are just losing their mind to get in here right now. Right now in the video is kind of me just going back and doing finishing touches, adding a little bit of shadows where I feel like they need to be, and then now I'm going in and going over the top of the line work. I alpha locked it when I was finished doing it and went back through so I could kind of make it colorful and not just one color all the way through. And here we are, the ending of the first piece. This is each layer of the yellow, blue, pink. You can kind of see where I was saying that I messed it up just a little bit and mixed them where I shouldn't have. But this is actually my least favorite of them, so let's get to the second one. The second one is more of my cartoony, chibi style, I guess is what you could call it. The easier one to make quicker if I just want to draw something without having to put a crazy amount of detail in it or overthink it too much like I tend to with my other style. This one was honestly really fun to do. It just felt like it was more natural by the second time doing it, and it wasn't as hard. I wasn't messing up as many times. So once you do it more than once, you tend to kind of get the hang of what to do and what not to do. The eyes honestly took me a bit to kind of figure out what I wanted to do with them. A lot of the times when I do this style, I don't tend to digitalize it. I kind of keep it on paper pencil and don't really add many colors to it. So it's normally just like a little black dot or gray, like the whole thing is gray. So I wanted to give it a little bit of creativity, I guess, in it. I really like Lavender Town and how she does like the shapes as the irises and stuff, so I tend to do that in my chibi style if I tend to really put detail into it other than just throwing it on a piece of paper and keeping it rolling. And we have now reached the end of the second drawing, and I really liked this one. I just really enjoyed how cute and like bubbly and cartoony it was. Very opposite to the last one we're gonna be doing, but yeah, no, I really like it. I think it's super cute. Now we have done it. We have reached the final drawing of the video, and this one is more in my vent art style. When I'm having a lot of like personal stuff, I tend to draw in this kind of style. This is a actual drawing from senior year of high school, I think. But yeah, no, I added a bunch of different eyes and stuff to it because I just wanted to give it more of the spooky vibe. But yeah, it's very different from all of the other ones, so let's get into this one. I had noticed that my first two drawings I did were very similar color palettes, very bright and colorful and poppy, and I kind of just wanted to do something that had a slightly darker palette. So this one's more of like a pinkish red and purples and dark blues. A lot of the like rendering in the skin is a lot darker, with like the purples trying to like bring it all kind of towards the middle where the eye is looking at it. And this is my favorite part, I think, of the entire drawing. I loved rendering the hair in this. I normally have a terrible time with hair, and I just really like how it came out. I really like the shadows and the colors with it. I think it looks so good. It's just like, mwah, beautiful. I love it so much. And the way I kind of got it to give this appearance for the hair is I went through with the reddish pink and started doing the shadows with that purple on a different layer, and just erased off the purple to kind of give it some highlights on top of it. But it honestly came out really good. I'm really proud of it. This is another one that I had a little bit of creative liberty with the eyes, I guess. I normally don't do this style digitally either, so it's kind of just pencil sketch and like circly. But I wanted to give it some color in this, and decided that the blue needed its own spot since the purple and the red already had their designated spots. I decided to do an ombre on the hoodie because my husband thought it was a good idea, and it made it really interesting. It was real fun trying to figure out how to do the shadows where the ombre is at, since the blue works fine on the purple, but it's not going to really do anything on itself. So I'll go back over it here in a minute with the pink to kind of give it its own little shadows too. Now I'm just kind of going in and doing the finishing touches, adding a little bit of color to some of the line work here and there. I was going to do the whole thing in different colors like I did all the other pictures, but there was just some spots where I was like, nah, the gray honestly looks better in the line work. And for the background, I kind of just decided to do the same thing I did with the eyes to bring that blue somewhere, because there was already enough red and purple where I didn't want to make them the background. And there we are. All 3 photos are now done. If you stayed around this long, thank you so very much, and I hope you enjoyed yourself, and hope that you hopefully come back one day to see us again. I am hoping that from now on the videos will be a bit better to follow, since I'll be actually recording them through a different software instead of just using the playback speed paints from my art program, so that way I can actually show you everything I'm doing. I have a lot of ideas and plan for what I want to do, and I hope that some people will stick around and see what those plans become. Bye, have a great day.